Respected friends, join for this beautiful endeavor of tuning to Sri Vasishthaji and his teachings about the ultimate truth and the position of this world from that standpoint. Repeated listening to this knowledge will start making us thoughtful with that thinking called as contemplation and inquiry. We start understanding the sublime substratum, the truth, and the position of again this world, inspired by the teachings of Vasishthaji. When we start, in fact, doing the set sadhanas and sadhanas that are going to be repeatedly indicated, you know, that sublime self we start experiencing. And from that standpoint, everything is me, or there is nothing other than me. Therefore, when everything is me, nothing but pure love, pure kindness, compassion expresses in the Vyavahara. And when there is nothing other than me, therefore I am in my pristine glory of bliss and beatitude. So, not knowing these sublime outcomes, people just listen for few days, such things, not able to catch it, they just drop this beautiful moksha marga and go back into the old life of samsara only. Let us not do so. Wherever we are tired, not able to understand, invoke the Krupa of Rama, Vasishtha, have patience. They will bless us. Our intellect starts bit by bit understanding. Let's have faith, Shraddha. Let us have devotion, Bhakti. Let's have Ekagrata, the concentration. Let's be continuous, consistent. Here we are, Yoga Vaashishtha Maharamayam, third Utpatthi Prakaranam Leelopakhyanam, SAMARA SAMANANTHARA SAMSMRUTHI ANUBHAVA VARNANAM is the name of the 40th SARGA. We are seeing in that how analytically in front of us how it is put, how from the infinite consciousness at the Vyaschya and Samashti Chittas, the whole Jagat, including Drashta, are just projected out of ignorance. Other than that, nothing is so very real and important like that of the self. That knowledge is being revealed through Rama to all of us by Sage Vasishthaji. Thanks to Rama for asking the Prashna. We have seen up to the Shloka Sankhya 46th. Okay. Yeah. From 44 onwards, we will start studying it. Om, Om, Om. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म भक्ति योग धर्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः ओम यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्य प्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्व वेदान्ताः सच्चास्त्राः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् ओम श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनामवरानने ओम ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्त ब्रह्म भक्ति योग धर्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मत् गुरुभ्यो नमः श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे श्री वशिष्ठ विश्वामित्र वाल्मीकि वेदव्यास वामदेव नारदादि योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणादि शास्त्राणाम् आचार्येभ्यो नमः संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषत् योगवासिष्ठ महारामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्षकैवल्यप्राप्त्यर्थं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणेतिहाससन्तवाङ्मयोक्त साध्यसाधनानुभवसिद्ध्यर्थं तत्रोक्तऋषिमुनिगुरुदेवता दर्शनानुग्रहानुभवप्राप्त्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य विश्वव्याप्ते विश्व आध्यात्मिकप्रगत्यर्थं धर्मसंस्थापकानां नित्यनिरन्तरदिग्विजयार्थं श्रीराममन्दिरवत् शिवकृष्णादिमन्दिरादीनां पुनर्वाप्ति तेषु निरन्तरशास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातनधर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यन्तरशत्रुविघ्नसमूल निर्मूलनपूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणात् आरभ्य वैदिकहैन्दवसंस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्षार्थानां सुसम्प्रतिष्ठा अवाप्त्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां सङ्कल्पितसत्त्वदिग्विजयः तेषां हृदये दीनां प्रति भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्मसाफल्यार्थम् अनेकशास्त्राणाम् अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्नमध्ये श्रीवाल्मीकिमहर्षिविरचित श्रीरामवसिष्ठसंवादरूप श्रीयोगवासिष्ठमहारामायण स्मृतिमोक्षप्रकरणशास्त्रस्य पारायणमध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्नं मोक्षार्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। ॐ मङ्गलाचरणश्लोकाः ॐ यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाताज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदृश्यभूः कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मात् आनन्दस्याम्बरेवनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभुः यो विभात्यवभासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः। सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तमेकमजरं नित्यं विभुं शाश्वतं प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मरसायनं सुखघनं पूर्णं परं पावनं स्वात्मज्योतिरनादिमध्यनिधनं मायाविलासैर्मुहुः विश्वाधारमपास्तमायमभयं वन्दे विशुद्धं पदम्। ज्ञानादेवात्मनो मोक्षः न तु कर्मसमाधिभिः अज्ञातोऽसौ स्वसदृश्यं सृजत्येवेति कीर्त्यते। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे। विश्वामित्रमुनिं शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहं। तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्रीगुरुतमगुरवे भूरिभावैरनताः स्मः। पूर्णानन्दस्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्दिदीर्षुर्जनमनवरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं बहिरपि कलयन् शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृतजलधिममुं रामचन्द्रं प्रपद्ये। ॐ श्रीरामचन्द्रपरब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीवसिष्ठादिर्षिभ्यो नमः। श्रीयोगवासिष्ठमहारामायण शास्त्रं तृतीय उत्पत्तिप्रकरणं लीलोपाख्याने समरसमनन्तर संस्मृत्यनुभववर्णनं नाम चत्वारिंशः सर्गः। So beautiful from this 44th shloka. वृद्धिम श्री योगवासिष्ठ महारामायणं तृतीयोत्पत्ति प्रकरणं चत्वारिंशः सर्गः। श्री वसिष्ठ उवाच वृद्धिमित्थमयं यातो मुदैव भुवन भ्रमः स्वप्नाङ्गनासङ्गसमः तु अनुभूतोऽप्यसन्मयः। See, mudha eva. Mudha means just for no purpose, no reason, worthy or substantial. Ayam Bhuvana Brahma Vruddhim Itham Yataha. The entire Bhuvana Brahma has this way got projected. So the pure consciousness alone, the basic mistake is not knowing that consciousness as it is. If you can catch this point, anywhere you listen to Vedanta, any of the books you study, you will be on the right track of understanding. And all the examples quickly you remember that it is the ignorance of the rope that the snake projected, the ignorance of the waking that the dream projected, ignorance of the mirage that the water is projected, the marubhumi that the water is projected. So, to whenever Jagat is said to be Brahma, immediately catch that it is Kalpita. And Kalpana is possible only for two reasons. One, when the reality or the substratum is not known, then from that ignorance only a Vilakshana Shakti expresses for the projection of all these things. That Shakti is inexplicable. That is Ananta. Why do you say it is inexplicable? Because by itself it has no purpose of existence. From the projected world standpoint, it is said to be the cause. In the substratum, it is not there at all. And why it is called the Ananta Shaktiman? Ati, that Shakti? Because Anantata, so much it is going on, infinitely projecting. And this is how that Vedanta has to be understood. And the most important thing which we have to have faith, that's the only way which can help us is what? When the rope is known as rope, as the snake and consequent samsara goes away, same way, when the self is experienced, all these projections go away. This only when I experience the self, I will know it. Before that, it's only the authority of the Shastras, the authority of the Anubhavagnya Gurus. है ना? Shruti Pramanam, little of Yukti Pramanam, then the Mahapurusha Pramanam, Vak Pramanam. They are the only Pramanas for us to begin with. But having had the faith fully, and when we do sadhana, the most beautiful thing is we also can experience it. Once we experience the substratum, for us also the whole world is either not there or not other than me. This being subject to self, it cannot be objectively put in front. This being such self which is beyond all explanation, explainability by the words, nor it can be conceptualized by intellect. Therefore, all the common, familiar, known means of the worldly knowledge won't function in the self, in the reality, in the substratum. That is not its shortcoming, that is how it has to be. If it becomes the object of knowledge like anything, it is an object. Therefore, it depends on the upadhis. Therefore, when the upadhis are not there or non-functional, it is not there. Think. Then it becomes dependent. Na? That which is dependent, how can it be the reality? This is how the yukti we have to use it. Okay. So, vruddhimittam ayam yato mudhaiva bhuvanam brahmaha. This is how its whole thing is. 1,000 times when we listen, 10 lakh times when we contemplate, or as many times as it is required. First, what is said by this Jagat Mithya projection is understood. Then equal time, equal amount of efforts on the seat of meditation. Slowly make us subtle. All said and done, till we have Satyata given to the Jagat and Bhoga Asakti in the Jagat, so long the Antakarana will not be Sukshma enough to catch that substratum, intellectually, theoretically, nor the deepest of the meditation possible to realize the self. So, Antakarana Shuddhi is necessary thing. Shuddha Antakarana is free from any longing for the outer world, so too the readiness to detach from the upadhis. ये सारे मुख्य मुख्य बातें शास्त्रों का वेदांत का रटना चाहिए हमको. We must know them by heart and on our fingertips. With that knowledge, we live and negotiate the outer world so that it is not a liability to me nor it's binding me. With the same knowledge, in the minimum time when I sit on the seat of meditation, I am able to withdraw from the perceptions, from the thoughts, and even rise above the drishya drashta dichotomy. There I am, one with the pure Drukswarupa Chaitanya. हाँ, imagine कि वो अनुभव मिल गया तो there is ecstasy, there is a dance. Nothing remains for one to become miserable. Misery runs away by becoming miserable in its failure of trying to make us miserable. Right? Now, yatraiva mriyate jantoho pasyatyashu tadeva saha tatraiva bhuvana bhogam imam itham iva sthitham. So, any jantu, generalizing not only human beings, all beings, whichever are conscious, yatraiva mriyate jantoho. Whoever is dying, pashyati ashu tadeva saha. Whatever was there in that chitta, it will project the world and we sees it as real. And in the projected world, with one set of upadhi, with a microsecond because of habits, it gets identified and says it is mine. It's just like how many hundreds and thousands of times we might have traveled in the buses, in the trains, in the flights. What do we do the first thing when we board? We just run to the seat number allotted to us. We sit in that and we claim it is ours. In the same way, out of the projected so many, like the out of the projected total world of the dream, one individuality don't we identify with and say this alone is me and the world is other than me, then the khel shuru. That's the meaning of yatra eva mriyate jantu pasyatyashu tadeva saha. Tatra eva, having taken new embodiment, bhuvana bhogam imam itham iva sthitam. There also, again, the kalpita jagat will be there and he takes it to be so real, goes on involving in it. साहब ये कब तक चलता रहेगा when till he pauses, till he withdraws, till he goes within himself, till he finds the actual who is he substratum. Till that time, in this way, continuous Janma and Marana, Maranoparanta, again a new world projected, taking it as real, it goes on going on. That is called in a technical terms as samsara. And its end result is always dukkha. It is because when it is not real, second, it's not permanent. Isn't it? Any good, comfortable position just ends in time and the disappointments come. That is inevitable. नित्य परिवर्तनशील जगत में नित्य सुख असंभव. That we not able to catch it. Moment by moment, the world is changing. So, if your friend cannot be all the time friendly, he will have his own moods changing depending on various reasons. So that they may not wish you, they may not reciprocate you. Your own husband or wife cannot 24 ghante be holding on to you, and that's not good for you also. You have to come to the class, isn't it? That's how the world, and we are not able to catch. World means continuous change. Change is the only changeless thing in the world. And that we are not able to understand. Therefore, it should not change. It should be like that only. We insist. Array, it should be like that. That insistence itself is wrong, first of all. By mistake, let us say, you liked and it happened like that. और उसको लगातार ऐसे रहे मांगना वो होता ही नहीं वो. Only one thing which remains as it is all the time is your own inner sat and chit. Other than that, all the things projected, they have to be rejected. Between the projection and rejection, the modification. The projection we call in our ignorant language as birth, the rejection in our ignorant life, words call it as death, and in between, we go through all the modifications. The moment something is projected or born, it's going to get rejected or die, and the process at that very moment only began. Anything you buy, 20 days के बाद एक्सपायरी लिखा है उस पर, मतलब आज से उसका एक्सपायरी शुरू हो गया होना, होते होते उस दिन हो जाए. So that part here Vasishthaji is leaving for our understanding that how in this continuously changing world not understanding and accepting how we become miserable. He is leaving it to us, but he is explaining this is how every being, Marananantara, with whatever is the chitta has got, world projected, identified with the one set, immediately the reality is given to both, then the khel shuru. Every day like the children. हो गया स्कूल इवनिंग आ जाते हैं to the ground, the 20 of them, they just get divided into two teams by various means and they get a task. फिर एक ने जीता टास्क उसने कहा मैं बैटिंग करता हूँ आज देन ही इज बैटिंग टीम द अदर बॉलिंग टीम खेल चलता रहता है 1-2 घंटा एवरीथिंग सेम ना जैसे ऑफिस सब सुबह सुबह 9 बजे पहुंच जाते हैं एवरीबडी ऑन देयर सीट्स एंड डेस्क्स कीप वर्किंग एंड इन द इवनिंग्स everything in the world so routinely happening all out of projection given as reality ठीक है now come to 46 when I'm repeatedly we are repeating what is said by Vaashishthaji that the jagat is mithya always remember the vyavaharik decency we will continue don't give it beyond that reality and that is also secondary primary is the real reality is to be realized. The purpose of the entire Vedanta is not to reject the world. Purpose of entire Vedanta is to realize the self. Mana? We are already that reality, just we have to realize. Rejection of self in the beginning done because we are so much lost in it in our mind. Later on we realize there is nothing other than self called as Jagat. You can never reject it, nor you can own it. Isn't it? Think. Now, next sloka बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है व्योमैवानुभवत्यच्छम् अहम जगदिति भ्रमम् व्योमरूपं व्योमरूपी जीवो जातः इवात्मवान् सी व्योम एव अनुभवति अच्छम इट्स a pure consciousness only is experienced as aham jagad iti brahmam I the subject the perceiver the jagat the object the perceived Vyoma Rupam, Vyoma Rupi. That Jiva also by his essential nature himself is that Siddhakash. The Jagat which is perceiving that also Vyoma Rupam. But Jivaha, है ना? I am the Jiva, Jataha, I am born, Atmavan, I am of these identities beginning with the Sharira. And he continues living like that. I tell you, these shackles when they get dismantled through the deep understanding, पहली पहल तो झरक लगता है वो is it so yeah it's like when you wake up from the some dream which you have so deep experience in that terrible experience not an ordinary then you wake up from it for a it takes a moment for you to realize अच्छा ये ड्रीम नहीं था ये ड्रीम जो था वो रियल नहीं है so this is real then after a minute or so you look here and there then you become familiar with this world and accept exactly from the second dream of waking to the ultimate reality when we realize suddenly अरे ये सब कहाँ गया it is a shaking thing one substratum only is there I alone am there the consciousness alone is there chitta sat alone is there what was that so far I saw what was that so far I was involved in where was that where is that now wow when you're engrossed in a cinema for 2.5 hours, when you come out of it, where is that background music? Where is the hero, heroine, villain, the sentiments, the emotion, the miseries? कोई कोई सिनेमा तो यार क्या क्या निकालते डायरेक्टर प्रोड्यूसर लोग जिंदगी में भी ऐसे दुख नहीं होते हैं that much they take out their imagination projection and such movies are seen by all the women folk and they enjoy like everything crying lota lota है ना and catching our nerve and catching it they take it as a serial never ending तुम मरो लेकिन ये सीरियल खत्म नहीं होगा 5,000 एपिसोड हो गए where is that when we come out of that theater बताओ So, what is to be caught here? Slowly and steadily, we have to become calm and quiet in our antakarana with the help of the explanations, logics, examples given here. Intellectually apprehend about the position of the reality, position of this Jagat. Then slowly develop within the desire to realize that self, Shubha, the real. If we succeed in that, then what is said by the Shastras is confirmed that there is no more for you any samsara. Samsara is only in the projected Jiva Jagat. In the Adhisthana, there is no samsara. Aha. Are we not feeling some comfort when we listen to these facts? And is there anywhere other than in the Tattva Shastras and such classes we are told about these things? No, we are told about the Jagat is Satya, run behind it, get kicked by it. That's what we are told, that's what we are doing. That's why in Mundaka Upanishad, unhesitatingly, the Guru Angiras Maharaj says to Shaunaka, even your Vedas and all, they are also Aparavidya if they are only at the intellectual level. Paravidya is only one process by which the Akshara Parabrahma is experienced. Ata paraya tad aksharam adigamyate. Ah, okay. So this is understood. Vyoma eva anubhuti acham aham jagad iti brahmam. Vyoma Rupam is the consciousness alone is the form of Jagat, consciousness alone in the form of the Jiva. Jataha iva, Atmavan iva. I am one and I am individual now. All in the Chitta happening. And that particular birth, as that Sharira in that family, all of them are because of his own Chitta Vrittis, which are now resulted in that. You call them as karma phala, you call them as samskaras, whatever the names you give. Hmm. Now, in the list of the things projected on the Chidakasha, the pure conscious self, and taken as real, and about which big poets have written big poems, Kathakaras have written so many Kathas, Natakakara have done so many Natakas. People interested went on spending years together discussing about them. All these worlds are projected. First, Surapattana. Surapattana means the Indraloka, Swarga Adi. Shaila. So the big mountains like Merugiri Ityadi. Araka, the Surya Bhagwan. Tara, the stars. Nikara, all put together are Sundaram. The most beautiful Swarga, Meru Parvata Adi, Surya Bhagavan, Tara Adi, etc. Four given, in that you add the list of all which you consider as beautiful or divine or auspicious. All of them are also projected. सो इंद्र आदि लोक नहीं है क्या स्वामी जी? परमात्मा दृष्टि से नहीं है, सूर्य आदि नहीं है, परमात्मा एक ही है, कुछ भी नहीं है नहीं कह रहे हम. The Adhisthana alone is there. See, in the beginning days, how tough it was to listen, refusing only our mind intellect. Now, after some years of listening, slowly, we are getting that subtle intuitive intellect to just start accepting because of the repetition of examples 100 times. You know, that the rope is real, not snake. On the rope, snake projected. ये सुनकर हमको एक अधिष्ठान है करके acceptance होता है. That's all in the acceptance, in the faith only to begin with. Later on through sadhana, direct personal अपरोक्षानुभूति. अपरोक्षानुभूति होगा और तभी ये सारा confirm होगा. No Vedantic knowledge is finally confirmed without experience. Till that time, we go on studying, we go on making our intellect subtler, etc. We develop our faith in it, and then a day of journey should start inside, and that journey concludes, culminates in realizing it. So Surapattana, Shaila, Araka, Taranikara, Sundaram. Most beautiful. That's also projected. Second one, Jara, old age, Marana, death, Vaiklavya, lots of inflictions, Vyadhi, diseases, Sankota, so many complications and dangers, Kotaram, the abode of all of that. किसके बारे में बोल रहे होंगे? Our own earth. That earth with all its these things, most ugly things, the Swargadi with all those Sundara things, all are projected only. And in both of them, Swabhava. Swabhava means what one likes. Bhavana means liking. Abhava means not liking, hatred. Therefore, some Arambha, so much disturbed because of these things in the mind, somehow, because of the liking, at any cost I want that thing. Because of disliking, at any cost I want it to get out of me. That called the inner tension, called as samrambha. So bhava, swabhava, abhava, samrambha. Then sthula, the gross, sukshma in our own mind, the thoughts and emotions, etc. Chara, the mobile, achara, the stationary. All of them in both the Swargadi and Bhumyadi. All of them are in that Chidakasha only projected. In that Sa Abdi, ocean is there in that. Adri, mountains are there. Urvi is there. Bhumata, Nadi, the rivers. Then Nadisha Aho. Aho means daytime. Ratri means night time. Kalpa, it extended up to Maha Kalpa Kala at the macro level. Shana at the micro level as one movement. And Kshayam, all these are continuously in that Kala getting Kshaya. ये सारे भी टीवी स्क्रीन में सिनेमा की तरह on the Adhishtanam project. You see that? And when we are at that level of projected life, the rules, conditions of that apply. On the basis of that only, all Shastras, other than Tattva Shastras, Moksha Shastras are given. Other than Tattva Moksha Shastra, Upanishads. In the Tattva Moksha Shastra, reality alone is told to be realized. See that if we are continuously listening to this Yoga Vaashishtha, whether we remember what you heard or not, but the intellect starts becoming subtler, sharper, at least to little bit catch what is said on that day. I believe, in my opinion, that itself is a good maturity. है ना पूरा इस आध्यात्मिकता के प्रति में बुद्धू रहने के बजाय एटलीस्ट इन द क्लास little is being registered or understood is a good beginning. Continue it like that. It will take time depending on our efforts, our abilities, but it will start happening also. Love these shastras, you know, tattva shastras. Just see that our own mind is the enemy which doesn't want us to study them. उसको check करो, उसको control करो, उसको कहो, what do you want, I'll give you, but allow me to study also. In that way, slowly, start involving, consciously involving, lovingly involving, bit by bit, little by little, stokam, grasit grasam. That is what the wisdom you and I have to have now. By our own choice, with our own free will, with the given conveniences, with all the abilities, little by little, Tattva Shastra Shravana, Adhyayana, Manana Chintana, through that Tattva Jnana Nishchaya, then Tattva Sadhana towards Tattva Anubhuti. And it should happen silently within us. We need not share with others outside. Only me, my Guru, my God. That's it. Any one or two people who are like-minded, with them little discussion. Anytime they also can leave us and go. Be ready for everything. किसका क्या प्रारब्ध है नहीं पता ना, तो कोई कहीं भी जा सकता, तो तैयार रहो बस उसके लिए. Like you are listening to me today, tomorrow you may go somewhere. I'll be ready. I should be ready, prepared. For whatever reasons, I need not even inquire it also. But as long as you are there, you are told these things. Next, now, once we are into the Sharira, by our own concepts, intellectual, and also prompted by the other beings. How our thinking gets stronger and stronger, in conviction gets stronger regarding I am an individual with these upadhis, totally separate. Others too also separate from me. The whole world is real. Now I have this mission of doing this or that, this desire of achieving this or that. How all that projected giving. Aham jataha, I am born, amuna pitra, to this man, he is my father, isn't it? Aham jataha amuna pitra kila, is it not? Atra iti apta nischayam, and these are my friends, and these are all my apta well wishers. Introduced na 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 ni da 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 di papa papi kuka kuki kya kya I don't know. Fufa fufi sare. All relations they come. Then iyam mata, she is my mother. Then dhanam idam mama, these are all my money, isn't it? That's later on as he grows, but childhood में ये तेरे जूते हैं, तेरा ये पेन है, तेरा बैग है, तुम्हारा कपड़ा है, पेंसिल है, all that mama idam dhanam udita vasanam. In this way, either from inside the vasanas come as desire, therefore my desires they are identifying with the desires of the mind also. Then Sukrutam, oh, this is a good Punya karma I have done today. I have done the charity of 2 rupiah. Dushkrutam, अरे I did a wrong thing. What is it? 5 रुपए लूट लिया उससे जिसको 2 रुपए दिया था. दुष्कृतम च idam mama iti kruta kalpanam. Now listen, are these all things, are they not only in the mind? Point one. Two, if mind is not there, are they any one of them sustained? Like in the sleep? Do we have in the sleep where there is no mind? I am so and so's son, mother, my father, my friend, my enemy, my desire, my good action, bad action. Is any of that iota of them exist in Nidra? No. But the moment we wake up, all of them are. What do you mean by waking up? Chitta awakened with all its samskaras. Only that much is the reality of the whole world. Yet our stulata of the buddhi and our chanchalata of the mana does not allow us to understand it, accept it. And not understanding and not accepting के लिए तो हजारों examples तो है ही है, isn't it? Like the values, not understood, not accepted. We know that, but नहीं समझना चाहते बस. Be honest, be loyal, be hardworking, love everybody. These are all values. No, no, no. I will hate only. I will fight only. I will be selfish only. I will cheat only. अब एक क्या है भाई उसको इतना भी समझो नहीं समझता उसको ही माया कहते. इन द सेम वे द गुरु अंडरस्टैंड्स इसको इतना बार समझाया एवरीथिंग इज इन चित्त चित्त इज ऑब्जेक्टिफाइड कॉन्शियसनेस देयर नथिंग अदर देन द कॉन्शियस सेल्फ इज रियल थाउजेंड टाइम्स गुरु टेल्स स्टिल द डिसेबल विल नॉट अंडरस्टैंड एंड गुरु अंडरस्टैंड अभी माया में है. इफ गोज ऑन लिसनिंग आई विल गो ऑन टेलिंग हाउ इन one day it will happen I don't know. It happened to me too. इति सुश्रुम पूर्वेशम ये नस्तत् विचचक्षिरे है ना. बोथ इन कैन उपनिषद ईशावास्य इन बोथ we see that the guru having told the disciple says so this is what I was told by my gurus but somehow it clicked to me. It just happened to me. How it happened I can't explain. Like how dream happens that we can't explain. How waking up happens that also we can't explain. How we got into the bondage of worldliness, we don't know. How we realized that also we don't know. But the exposure we go on doing to this of this tattva, कभी ना कभी होगा हो. ठीक है. अहम जातः अमुना पित्रा किल अत्र इति आप्त निश्चयम् इयं माता धनम इदं मम इति उदित वासनम. देन सुकृतम दुष्कृतम च इदं मम इति कृतकल्पनम. ओके. देन बालः I was child. Abhuvam aham tu adya yuva iti. Now I have become young. Vilasat hradi. All that is the things that are there felt about oneself. One basic mistake, I am conscious self, that's forgotten. In this way, it becomes so routinely realistic that we don't pause and think like where this whole world has gone in Nidra. Where from it is coming when I wake up from Nidra. And where the whole world is perceived. Who is the perceiver? Am I aware of the perceiver? Yes, then that perceiver also must be other than me and I am awareness. Therefore, what is this perceiver and perceived dichotomy or duality? Nothing but चित्त. ये सब सोचता ही नहीं बंदा, ऐसा ही फिर चलता है रहता है. In the delusion, the remember the yuga, mahayuga, kalpa, mahakalpa, the time also goes on. That time also part of delusion. Kala, desha, vastu, janma, jara, roga, mrityu, sukha, dukkha, labha, hani, jaya, parajaya, all of them are in the upadhis, which are kalpita, they were unreal. Adhisthana alone is there as substratum, permeating everything, very clearly told to us by Adi Shankara Bhagavan in our Lagu Vakyavritti last 5-6 days. That's the topic we were studying thoroughly. Though not in so many details it's given, up to this much it is said. All the perceptions are in the chitta and modifications also are in chitta. Chitta, the conscious self, is untouched by them, though it is illuminating all of them. And that chitta and chitta vrittis, because we are experiencing and accepting, therefore the Guru is talking in our language. From the Guru standpoint, only the substrate. Okay. Now this is how anyone who is in the delusion, to all of them, this goes on. What is said so far is nothing but the so-called familiar thing, Janma Marana Samsara, but told in more deeper, realistic explanation. हम सुन लेते हैं बस जन्म मरण संसार, like moha vyamoha, maya moha. These shabdas we use without understanding, isn't it? तो यहाँ स्पष्ट रूप से it is given. Now, pratyekamevam muditaha. Now, this is compared with the vana, a forest. This entire projected samsara, accepted samsara, maintained samsara, lived in samsara, suffered samsara, suffering samsara. Project explained with a vana. See, pratyekamevam uditaha. Every time and to every individual who is maintaining that individuality. For all of them at every life में प्रत्येकम एवं उदिता, हर बार हर एक को ऐसा एक कल्पित जगत उदित होता है. संसार वन खंडक, द संसार नेम्ड वन. In this tara kusumita, the stars are the kusuma, the flowers. Neela mega chanchala pallavaha. In that forest, the tender leaves are the beautifully looking Neela meghas. Now this is highly contemplative. इस वन को जो इन शब्दों से डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, when we imagine our mind, in our mind on the citta meditation, picturize it and then see, is not my citta only projected all this in the form of all this, and it is supported within behind by the Adhisthana Chaitanya Atma. First we imagine this as told, then same thing is in the world, you apply it. Like in Mandukya, again and again, the dream is explained. And then we are told, like the dream waking also. So here also, Vaashishthaji uses hundreds and hundreds of techniques to teach us. We have started just a few. We have done only the Vairagya Prakaranam, Moksha Prakaranam. With the Utpatthi, we are only 40th. One third only. We have 122 sargas. Then we have to see the Sthiti Prakarana, then Upashama Prakarana, then half of that is Nirvana Prakarana. More than 14,000 shloka in that. Other than that, the remaining में 18,000. ये 18,000 पढ़ो तो we become qualified to study the 14,000. In all that, Vaashishtha ji will go on guiding us. Let us travel with him. Right? Now you see, Tara Kusumitaha. The Kusumas are the Taras. Then Chanchala Anila Mega Chamchala Pallavaha. The Chanchala Nila Megas are the Pallavas, the tender leaves. Then Charan Naramruganikaha. All the human beings are the various Mruga that are found in this forest jungle. Sura Sura Vihangamaha. All the Sura, Devata, Sura are the Vihangamas, the flying birds they are all. Aloka Kausuma Rajaha. So all the alokas, the various lights which we see of Surya Chandra Ityadi or the Deepakanti, they are all called the Kusumaraja, the pollen grains of the flowers. Then Shyama Gahana Kunjakaha, the Shyama, the night time is the Gahana Kunjakaha, the dense lata, the creepers when they are there, within that it looks to be very dark. So that Shama Lata, that Shama, the night time itself is Gahana Kunjakaha or Gahana Kunja. The deep forest within which forest only explained here, उसमें फिर लताओं का घना हुआ है, उसके अंदर जो अंधेरा है. Then Abdi Pushkarini Purnaha, the big ocean itself is the Pushkarini, the small rivulet or the lake in that Vana. Then Mervadi Achara Loshtakaha. Mervadi, big, big Parvatas are the small little stones, boulders that you find in the forest. Then Chitta Pushkara Bijantar. In this, Chitta uh, is Chitta Pushkara Bija. Chitta is a Pushkara, the Chitta, all our vrittis are the lotuses. Okay. Then to Chitta Pushkara, Bijantar Nilina Anubhava Ankuraha. Then variety of the Anubhavas and their samskaras are there. The Ankuras of those, what you call, the various lotuses that are there in that lake. So in this way, this mm, Kalpita, whole Jagat is compared with the Vana, forest. So Pratyekamev Muditaha, Samsara Khandakaha, Tara Kusmito, Nilamega, Chanchala Pallavaha, Charan Nara Murganikaha, Surasura Vihangamaha, Alauka, Kausumarajaha, Shama Gahana Kunjakaha, then Abdi Pushkarini Purnaha, Mervadi Achala Loshtakaha, Chitta Pushkara Bijantar, Nilina, Anubhava Ankuraha. The Ankura within that lotus is nothing but the samskaras that are experienced and stored in the chitta. Chitta is the pushpa. Within the chitta, the bijas are the ankuras, the bijas of the lotus itself, which again subsequently will become cause for the new lotus plants. Okay. Yatraisha mriyate jivaha tatraivam pashyati kshanat pratyekam evam jagat khandeshu bhurishaha. See, yatra esha mriyate jivaha. The moment any jiva leaves this body, called as dying, tatra evam pashyati kshanat. In a micro moment's time, he sees the whole thing. It just happens. The power of the habit of millions of lives living like that, projecting like that, makes him do it so instantaneously. Like in Vyavahara, so many of the habits we have instantaneously they happen. वो हमने काम किया करके याद भी नहीं रहता, कर दिया कि नहीं मैंने, हाँ, आदत से हो जाता है. So yatra esha mriyate jivaha tatra evam pashyati kshanat pratyekam uditeshu evam jagat khandeshu bhurishaha. So in this way, every time so many sthula sukshmas he goes on projecting and goes on seeing. हाँ हाँ, द शक्ति देखो माया का, जिसको चित्त कहते हैं इंडिविजुअल लेवल में एंड ईश्वर का माया करते हैं टोटल में. इट्स जस्ट प्रोजेक्टिंग ऑल. सिंपल रूल याद रखो, everywhere in the pot there is mud. Therefore, the pot has to be projected with all its shapes and sizes. So, to the entire Jiva Jagadishwara, the substratum Satchidananda is very much there. Everywhere. Therefore, what is the Jiva Jagadishwara? Nothing but the Kalpita. How it's happening? That is the Maya Shakti. What we have to understand, we are lost in it. So, to come out of it for liberation by realizing this substratum. Then, in this way, Kotayo Brahmarudrendra Marud Vishnu Vivaswatam Giryabdhi Mandala Dvipa Lokantara Drushangataha. अब एक बार चित्त को मौका मिला, do you think it will stop? Kotaya, it will project karodo. Now when it is talked karodo, understand it is said from the samashti standpoint. Kotaya Brahma, Rudra, Indra, Marud, Vishnu, Vivasvatam. Karodo Brahmadevas, Karodo Rudras, Karodo Indra, Karodo Marudganas, Vishnu Bhagavan, and Vivaswan Surya. So to Karodo Giri, Abdhi, Mandala, Dvipa, Lokantara, Drusham Gataha, all wherever, in whichever the way you see all this, by individual, by mutual or by samashti, जहां भी हो ये सारे उस चित स्वरूप परमात्मा में चित्त का ही प्रकल्पना है, माया का ही प्रकल्प. Think, think, how to understand it. Just think on that also. Oh Lord, oh Guru, give us that capacity, ability. Give us those techniques that we become subtler to grasp these things. Then, as it is given the listener, Kotayo Brahma Rudrendra Marud Vishnu Vivasatam Giri Abdi Mandala Dvipa Lokanta Sangata Yataha Yasyanti Yanti. Yataha means in the past also they came and dissolved. Yasyanti in future also will be projected. Yanti right now also they are projected and dissolving. Drishtayaha, the visions of all these type, Nashtarupinaha, all of them being projected, their nature is to get destroyed only one day. Ya Brahmani Upabrahmadhyaha. Such things which are projected on the Brahman, Ke Ganaitum Kshamaha, who can count the number of these Brahmandas Ananta Koti that are projected on this pure Parabrahma. Who can count? The answer is no need to count. Just realize the Brahman, all them found to be the Brahman only. Here, who can count means the explanations fail. The mind intellect gets stunned at one place. Endless are the projections. The mind gets stunned at the vastness of the world, which is projected. Mind also gets stunned at the beauty and bliss of the self, because that's the reality. Ascharya. Jagat Ascharya, Brahma Ascharya. Jagat is Kalpita, Mayamaya, Ascharya. Brahman is Adhisthana Satya, Ananta Ananda Swarupa, Ascharya. We'll see the 10 more slokas that are there tomorrow. With that, our this sarga will end. Om Purnamadaha Shruti Matre Namaha Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu Bol Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai Vasishtha Bhagavan Ki Jai. Listen this knowledge, allow it to sink little, but while doing this in the class and it's ready, let that go on going on. Let that doesn't disturb our Vyavahara's beauty and decency. The changes in the Vyavahara which you have to bring are that reality given, the insistence is done, the covetousnesses, the desires, the possessivenesses, all these let us reduce and become more noble and decent in our Vyavahara as a minimum outcome of studying these Shastras, which gives purification of the heart. With that, this Siddhanta Jnana, we can bring it to Anubhava also. Make it Anubhava. Thank you. Om Shruti Matre Namaha Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. Now come, let us study Lagu Vakyamriti 1 or 2 slokas.